shadows over the cracked sidewalks and abandoned buildings. The neighborhood, stitched together with boarded-up windows and overgrown lots, had been forgotten by most of the city. But for 9-year-old Aria Johnson, it was home. Aria was small for her age, with wide, observant eyes and calloused hands from helping out at home. She lived in a crumbling duplex near the train tracks with her mother, Tasha, a kind but often sickly woman who worked double shifts at a nearby diner when her health allowed. They didn't have much, but they had each other. On that particular day, Aria had wandered into the neighborhood again, searching for help. Her mother hadn't come home the night before. At first, Aria thought she might have gotten stuck at work. But when she found her mom's purse and shoes still at home, along with the house key, dread began to crawl under her skin. She searched everywhere she could think of, the diner, the corner store, even Mr. Watson's garage, where her mom sometimes helped fix cars on weekends. Nothing. Nobody had seen Tasha since the previous evening. Hours passed. The sky turned a smoky orange. Finally, Aria heard a low noise coming from the shed behind the empty lot, a place she had always been told never to go near. The shed was a rotting structure behind a long-abandoned house, right at the edge of the neighborhood. Most kids claimed it was haunted, and no one ever dared go near it after dark. Aria hesitated, heart pounding, but the sound came again, a faint, muffled moan. She ran. When the police arrived, 2 young officers who were clearly new to the area, Aria was already out of breath, dirt on her knees, her eyes wild with fear. "Please!" she cried, tugging one of their sleeves. "My mom is there! In the shed!" The cops looked skeptical. One of them sighed. "Sweetheart, we'll check it out, but—" "No!" Aria shouted, pointing. "She's in there!" The officers exchanged glances. Something in the girl's voice, raw, desperate, convinced them. They approached the shed, flashlight beams cutting through the gloom. The door was padlocked, but rusted and loose. One kick from the older officer sent it flying open. What they saw made them both stumble back. Tasha was inside, barely conscious, wrists bound, her lips swollen, bruises blooming across her cheek. A dirty rag was tied around her mouth. The shed reeked of mold and something fouler. She had been there, it seemed, all night. One of the officers immediately radioed for backup and medical assistance, while the other gently lifted Tasha and carried her out into the fading light. Aria stood trembling, tears streaming down her face, watching her mother blink slowly in recognition. "Mommy?" she whispered. Tasha reached out a weak hand. "Baby girl." As the paramedics worked and the police began their investigation, Aria sat on the back of the ambulance, wrapped in a blanket, watching. It didn't take long for the truth to surface. A local man, recently released from prison and known to lurk near the train tracks, had been squatting in the abandoned house. Tasha had apparently surprised him the night before while walking home, and he dragged her into the shed. Her survival was a miracle, but her daughter's determination had saved her life. The story made the evening news. Young girl saves mother trapped in abandoned shed. But to Aria, the attention didn't matter. She only cared that her mother was going to be okay. In the weeks that followed, the city finally turned its attention to Edgewood, the dilapidated homes, the lack of streetlights, the forgotten people. New funding was announced for safety initiatives. The shed was torn down. And for once, the neighborhood had hope. As for Aria and Tasha, they were placed in safer housing, thanks to a community program that had been kick-started by the incident. Life would still be hard, but they would face it together. Because one brave little girl had listened to her heart and refused to give up. The hospital room was quiet, except for the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor. Tasha lay resting, an /4 in her arm and a deep bruise running along her temple. Aria sat by the bed, legs dangling from a plastic chair far too big for her. She hadn't let go of her mom's hand all night. Every time a nurse came in, Aria tensed, half expecting something bad. But each time, the nurses just smiled, adjusted Tasha's wires, and praised the girl. "You saved her, sweetheart. Don't ever forget that." For Aria, It didn't feel like she'd done something brave. It felt like she'd done what any daughter would do. But something inside her had changed, something fierce and determined had awakened.